So I started working the door, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And a buddy of mine, he was obsessed with Strongman. He just got me in the gym one day and went from there.
And you went and did your first competition,
Yep.
and boom, you just took to it really quickly, huh?
Yeah, it was just like a fish in water, man. I took off, and football really helped me, but I also loved the gym. Like, that was one of the things, the camaraderie in the gym for football was one of my favorite things, because when you're sweating and you're pushing, and one of the guys is trying to keep up, but maybe he can't do it, but you see that determination, and that determination makes you want to help him. It makes us all closer, and it bonds you into this crazy a family type situation. And I loved the gym just growing up, so Strongman was perfect for me.
Okay. And before we get to Strongman, what were you like as a kid? Like you said, 8 out of 10 kids, which means, man, you're down on the low on the totem
One
pole.
bathroom.
One bathroom. Yeah, you grew up in some poverty, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny because when I tell people how I grew up, they're always like, "Wow," I didn't have electricity throughout high school. My dad worked at like a tractor company, Quinn Caterpillar Tractors.
Yeah,
He would come home on the weekend and he would plug in a generator from work for the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday we had electricity, but Monday through Friday we had none. And people always like act as though that's this big deal. It's crazy, but me as a kid, it's like that's just the way it was. That's what it is. So we had fun. We were super creative, and we would go and we'd jump on the trampoline, and we'd like create wrestling matches and stuff like that. I was obsessed with the WWF as a kid, obsessed, And I'd wrestle on my brothers and sisters until I got too big, and then they wouldn't want to wrestle me anymore. And we'd even like create little stories and movies and stuff like that, with a little camcorder. But we were really close. We were very close.
And you got picked on as a kid because you were big?
Yeah. The thing is we had no money, and so like all my clothes were ratty. But I was also really chubby. I was short and just built like a square, okay. and so people loved to pick on me because of it. And I was just soft-hearted, and I never really wanted to hurt anybody or anything, So it was probably from like 3rd grade all the way till sophomore year of high school when I hit my growth spurt that it was just being picked on.
All right.
But
how do you deal with that?
You figure it out. I got so lucky. Like, my mom was so supportive. My dad worked like 16-hour days, and I barely ever saw him. But my mom, she was always telling me, "You can do anything. You're special," and she really believed it. And you can tell when someone's telling you something and they're trying to be nice, or when they're telling you something that they truly believe. And I knew that I was going to be important. I knew I was special because my mom knew it. So I just grew up with that. And so even though I was picked on and I'd felt bad about my weight and everything, I'd always go home and I'd feel better. So it was a weird dichotomy of like school and then home life, so where I wasn't even going to go to high school. I was going to be homeschooled. And I remember it was like 4 days before school started, after junior high had ended. High school was starting, and a friend of mine who played quarterback, he gave me a call, and he's like, "Rob, you're not going to school. Like, you're going to be a good football player. You should go. Like, you need to come." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, football sounds like fun." So I went and I did that and ended up paying for college and everything. So it was great that I went, but being picked on almost kept me from even getting a high school education.
Wow. Yeah, that's serious stuff, isn't it? You can totally mess with kids' heads.
Definitely.
For a long time.
It really taught me the importance of a lot of things. Standing up for yourself, being true to yourself, but it also taught me how important that home life is. Like, that as an adult, but as a child I knew that because like when I was home, I felt like Superman, I was like, wow, like I'm really special,
Imagine if your mom hadn't have been that way, or if she had to work.
Exactly.
Then maybe none of that would have happened.
Exactly.
And she was able to do that with 10 kids.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah, she's a very sweet lady.
Yeah. And so when you start playing football in high school, things start changing.
Right.
Because that is a great place to be socially and physically. What was that transition like for you?
Football was my stage. It was my arena, you know. And from the moment I put on those pads, I was so dominant. I was bigger and stronger, and I was fast. I don't know where the speed came from because I was so chubby, but I was quick, man. I was super quick, and so I remember just strapping up. And day one, we'd lined up, and I didn't know anything about football. I didn't know positions. I didn't know anything. I actually started the first game as a freshman, and I had to come home. I told my mom, I was like, I'm starting at tackle, but I don't know what that is. So we bought a bunch of magazines, and we're looking through them, and I'm like, that's the tackle right there. Okay, that's where I'm supposed to go.
It's like before YouTube, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Wow. And so you start getting good at that. And for people that don't understand, I mean, football in America is like a religion, right?
It's huge.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like the only sport in high school that matters.
Yeah, it's huge, man. I mean, especially Texas and California, football is everything. And, you know, it's just, you know, if you're good at football, it didn't, all of a sudden it didn't matter, like, that I was chubby and all that stuff, you know, because it was like, oh, we saw you kick some ass on the field, you know, and so it really changed all of that for me.
Okay, and you keep getting bigger throughout high school and college as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually graduated high school with 375 pounds.
Wow.
I'm 393 pounds today.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Is your body different today than in high school?
Most definitely, yes.
Okay, how so?
Most definitely. I have a lot more muscle and a lot less baby fat.
Okay.
A lot less.
Because it takes time to build that muscle, right?
Definitely, grown man strength, you know, and the density, you know. I had a bigger waist then, everything, so you know, it's a big change.
Yeah, I was showing you our video department earlier, and we did this film about Dorian Yates, who was 6-time Mr. Olympia, one of our early guests on London Real about 7 years ago. Came on, and you know, people just thought he would have nothing to say. He's just some lump. And he actually ended up blowing everybody away with just his interests, his intellect, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we did a documentary about him, and I got to watch his body change through his competition. And you really see that to build muscle, it can take, you know, 6, 8, 10 years to really build that structure up for someone like that. And I'm guessing similar with you. Right?
Same exact thing. Yeah, it took me a long time. And then you start to learn, like, which muscles take longer, so you work those in a separate way. Like Dorian Yates, he basically treated his body like a sculpture. So like, I remember Arnold saying one time, he's like, you'd look at yourself in the mirror and be like, oh, okay, I need more plaster on my sculpture here. Yeah. So then you go to the gym and you work that part, and that's your mold, you know? And that's basically what he did. And then, yeah, it takes a long time. You watch these bodybuilders come up, and, you know, Phil Heath didn't look like that 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, takes time, right?
Yeah.